Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sam's Summaries. This episode is a deep dive discussion into Sam Fury's summary of the book 20 Productivity Rules for ADHD Minds by Sam Fury. It has been created with the help of AI. You can read the original summary at samfury.com.
All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling something pretty awesome, something near and dear to me, and I bet to a lot of you listening too.
That's right, ADHD. And more specifically, how to make this wonderful brain of ours work for us, not against us.
Exactly. We're diving deep into a book that really caught my eye. 20 Productivity Rules for ADHD Minds by Sam Fury. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like the typical productivity advice just bounces right off me.
Yeah, I get that, like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, right?
Exactly. But Fury's approach is different. It's not about trying to change who we are. It's about understanding our unique brain wiring and using it to our advantage.
And that's the core of this book, really. He flips the script. Instead of seeing ADHD as a deficit, he presents it as a different way of thinking, of processing information, of experiencing the world.
And you know what? I'm here for it. I'm so tired of feeling like I have to apologize for my brain.
Exactly. And Fury really emphasizes that ADHD brains are actually wired for some pretty amazing things like creativity, hyperfocus, and out-of-the-box thinking.
Okay, so we're talking superpowers here, right? Not weaknesses.
Exactly. But, and this is important, Fury also acknowledges the very real challenges that come with ADHD. He even breaks down the different types: inattentive, hyperactive, and combined, because there's no one-size-fits-all experience.
Right, and understanding your specific type is crucial for finding the strategies that will work for you. And that's what we're here to explore today.
Exactly. So where do we even begin with taming this, shall we say, energetic ADHD brain?
Well, Fury suggests starting with the foundational stuff, things that might seem basic but are actually crucial for us ADHD folks.
Like building solid routines, getting enough sleep. Yes, that's a big one. Eating healthy and regular exercise.
You know, it's funny, I used to scoff at the whole routine thing. I thought it was boring and restrictive.
I get it. I felt the same way for a long time. Structure. No, thank you.
Right, but then I decided to give it a try, just to see what would happen. And you know what? It was a game changer.
Oh, tell me about it. I finally understood why my therapist kept harping on a regular sleep schedule. The difference in my focus and energy levels was incredible.
Exactly. It's like our brains crave that stability to function at their best.
It's like giving our brains a solid foundation to build on, right? And speaking of building, let's talk about organization.
Oh boy, that's a big one for me. I'm one of those people who thrives in a bit of a productive mess.
I hear you. Papers everywhere, but somehow I always know where everything is.
Exactly. But Fury acknowledges that for some people with ADHD, clutter can be a major source of stress and distraction.
Absolutely. And in those cases, he suggests starting small. Don't try to organize your entire life in one go. Pick one drawer, one shelf, one corner of your desk.
Baby steps, right? I like that. He also talks about using clear storage solutions so you can actually see what you have. Out of sight, out of mind, as they say.
Which is so true for a lot of us, right? And don't be afraid to experiment with different tools and systems. Find what works for you, whether it's digital to-do lists, color-coded calendars, or good old-fashioned pen and paper.
I'm all about that visual organization.
Yeah.
Whiteboard, sticky notes, the works. What about you? What are your go-to tools?
I have to admit, I've become a bit of a digital convert. There are some fantastic apps out there that really help me stay on top of things.
That's awesome. And, you know, that segues perfectly into another biggie, time management, which, let's face it, can be a real struggle with ADHD.
Absolutely. Our brains aren't always the best at prioritizing and sticking to a schedule.
But Fury has some really cool techniques that can help us out here. He talks about the top 3 daily priorities method, where you choose the 3 most important tasks you want to accomplish each day and focus on those first.
Love that. I mean, we can only juggle so many things at once, right? And he also dives into this super interesting tool called the Eisenhower box.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one. Tell me more.
It's all about categorizing tasks based on urgency and importance. You create a grid with 4 quadrants. Do it now, schedule it, delegate it, or ditch it completely.
It's like a decision-making matrix for your to-do list. Brilliant.
Right. And for us ADHD brains, it can be super helpful in cutting through the noise and focusing on what truly matters. And speaking of focus, Fury also recommends breaking down big tasks into smaller, bite-sized steps.
Well, that's a good one. I find that if I have a huge, daunting task looming over me, I'm way more likely to procrastinate.
I feel that. But if you break it down into smaller chunks, it suddenly feels so much more manageable.
And less overwhelming, right? Like you can actually see the finish line.
Absolutely. And to keep that momentum going, he suggests using timers. Something as simple as setting a timer for 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break can make a huge difference.
It's like giving your brain permission to focus for a short burst, knowing that a reward, a break,
Yeah.
is coming soon.
Exactly. And speaking of things that can be both a blessing and a curse, let's talk about technology.
Oh yeah, the double-edged sword. On the one hand, tech can be incredibly distracting for us ADHD brains.
Oh, absolutely. The constant notifications, the endless scroll, it's a recipe for derailment.
But on the other hand, Fury argues that tech can also be an incredibly powerful tool for productivity if we use it mindfully.
Right. He's a big fan of productivity apps, but he emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries and using those apps strategically.
Like using website blockers to keep you off social media during work hours, or setting specific times to check email and messages so you're not constantly interrupting your flow.
Absolutely. And the beauty of some of these apps is that they can actually automate tasks for you, which is a huge win for us ADHD folks who often struggle with executive functioning.
I'm a huge fan of task managers that can schedule recurring appointments, send reminders, and even prioritize tasks for you. It's like having a personal assistant in your pocket.
And speaking of things that can help us feel more grounded and focused, let's not forget about the power of mindfulness and exercise.
Oh yeah, these are huge for me. I used to think meditation was just for hippies and yogis, but now I swear by it.
Right. And Fury actually dives into the science behind it, explaining how these practices can literally change our brain chemistry.
He talks about how exercise helps regulate dopamine and norepinephrine, which are key neurotransmitters involved in attention and focus.
And mindfulness practices like meditation can actually strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for executive function and impulse control.
And it's not just about work either. Fury also emphasizes the importance of scheduling and playtime, making time for things we enjoy, things that bring us joy and recharge our battery.
Absolutely. That's so important. It's not selfish, it's essential for our well-being and, ultimately, our productivity.
And speaking of well-being, Fury also highlights the importance of building a strong support system. Having people in our corner who understand our struggles and can offer encouragement and accountability.
That's so true. Whether it's a friend, a family member, a therapist, or a coach, having that support can make all the difference.
Accountability is huge for me. Knowing that someone else is expecting me to show up, even if it's just for a 30-minute work sprint, makes me way less likely to procrastinate.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, it's also important to learn to set boundaries and say no to things that drain our energy or pull us away from our priorities.
Yes, protecting our time and energy is so crucial, especially when we have ADHD. We can't be everything to everyone.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing our limits and prioritizing our own well-being.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, but we can't wrap up this deep dive without addressing the two big elephants in the room: procrastination and stress.
Oh, yes, the bane of our existence.
So don't worry, Fury has some practical tips for dealing with these pesky beasts.
For procrastination, he suggests focusing on immediate rewards. So instead of thinking about the long-term benefits of completing a task, break it down into smaller steps and reward yourself after each one.
I love that. It's so much more motivating than some vague future reward. And for stress, he emphasizes the importance of recognizing our triggers and having coping mechanisms in place.
Whether it's deep breathing exercises, taking a walk in nature, listening to calming music, or talking to a friend, whatever works for you.
Exactly. And he reminds us that seeking professional help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Sometimes we need that extra support to navigate the challenges of ADHD.
Absolutely. It's not about admitting defeat. It's about taking charge of your well-being and getting the support you deserve.
So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of 20 productivity rules for ADHD minds by Sam Fury. I highly recommend checking out the book for a deeper dive into all these strategies and more.
Absolutely. It's a treasure trove of insights and a great reminder that we're not alone on this journey. There are so many people out there who understand what it's like to have an ADHD brain, and there are resources and strategies to help us thrive.
So as we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a question to ponder. What's one strategy you heard today that you can start implementing right now? It doesn't have to be a massive overhaul. Even a small change can make a big difference.
And remember, progress over perfection. Be kind to yourself, celebrate your wins, and keep experimenting until you find what works for you.
You've got this, and we're here to cheer you on every step of the way.
Thanks for tuning in to Sam's Summaries. If you found this episode useful, let us know with a like, follow, and share. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to visit samfury.com to get free access to all of Sam's original summaries. You can also get any of Sam's books and other exclusive content. It's all completely free at samfury.com.